And voila! Right. Hi, everybody. Let's start the recording. We've got the recording going. Welcome, everybody. How are you? I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Can you believe that we are dialing down June? Oh my gosh. As much as I was like, oh my goodness, this summer is going to be crazy. What are we going to do? How is it going to work? Is it going to feel so weird with my kids? It is just cruising along, surprisingly so. Wow, that is crazy. All right, I'm going to put everybody, we got everybody on lecture mode. Excellent on the phone. Hi, everyone. Hello, welcome, welcome. So today I am so excited because I want to talk to you all about some of the things that you might be doing that are getting in the way of you seeing some weight loss. I want to give you 3 things that you can do to take some action on today to start seeing some results because, hello, that's what we want, right? And that's what I am here to give you. So I am really excited to share some of these things because I know that there's so much confusion. And even with what I'm saying, there might be like, well, but Marna, I'm supposed to eat 10 meals a day or 6 meals a day or 5 meals a day. And so I know that there's so many different people out there saying lots of different things. And I know how confusing it can be in this information age, knowing what to do, which way to turn, how to lose weight. But what I can tell you is in my 23 years of interviewing naturally thin people, understanding them, really getting a sense of who they are and what they do and how their mind works, and then being in psychology, being in education, I'd like to think that I have some background over these years, as well as working with thousands of women and seeing what works for them, what doesn't work for them, especially as it relates to the mind. And I know so much of my podcast and my work is relating to the mind. Today's going to be a little bit different. I'm not talking as much about the mind. I'm talking more about food, which I rarely do, but I thought it was important for today, and I thought it would be helpful for looking at some things that you might want to look at to make some adjustments to see some better results. Hi, Miss Lizzie. Hi, everybody. So thrilled that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to say hi. And of course, if you have any questions while I'm doing some training and lecturing, feel free, put them in the comment section. I am Marna Thall. I've been doing this work for the last 20 some years, a long, long time. I'm the owner of thinwithin.com. I'm one of the founding members, one of the founding coaches of the non-diet movement. I don't believe you should diet in order to lose weight or that you need to diet in order to lose weight, especially if you struggle with emotional eating, especially if you struggle with telling yourself no, like I had. And so I think that there's a better way, an easier way, a different way. And that's really by hunkering down and understanding what your life is revealing to you, what your mind is revealing to you, and how you can start doing things a little bit differently in a way that works for your life, for your body, and for your mind. So I am so happy to be here with you. We're going to jump in looking at 3 things that you can start doing today to start seeing some weight pop off. So I just want to say hi to all of you who are here. Hi, Tam. Hi, Roberta. Hi, Kate. I said hi to Miss Lizzie. Hi, Jill. Awesome to see you guys. I got lots of familiar faces, which I love. Okay, so let's look at snacks. I want to debunk this myth of like, let's have a healthy snack, or it's okay to eat as long as it's healthy. When your body is given more food than it needs, it doesn't care healthy or whatnot. It doesn't care what you think about it. It's going to store it. And so I really want you to be thinking about this differently in terms of snacks. A long time ago, not that long ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, there was this big push to have 6 meals a day. And it would be 3 main meals and 3 little snacks, or 2 little snacks, between 5 and 6 meals a day. And the idea was that if we kept our metabolic rate if we kept eating little meals, it would keep our metabolic rate higher. But what I've seen in my work, in my practice, doing this for so many years, is that it actually hasn't been true. That by telling ourselves, oh, we're going to have 3 big meals and 2 little snacks, what I started to see and what people shared with me is that those little snacks, they weren't just 3 bites of food. They weren't just 6 nuts. They weren't these small little meals. What happened was, instead of having three meals and a couple snacks, they became 5 pretty good size meals. And so what we've seen over the last several years is that the metabolic difference is actually nulled, if negatively impact, because of those meals, because they're not being consumed in the way that originally was being shared to increase the metabolic rate of people. So in other words, what we're seeing now is those 3 meals could be fine, but those snacks are actually more like meals. And so we're actually eating way more than our bodies need. And so we're not seeing the metabolic boost. We're actually seeing more weight. And so I want to look at snacking, and I want you to think about snacking in a different way today. I want you to think about it in the realm of a meal. That the only times that you are eating is when your body's hungry, and that is a meal. And it's not because something looks good. It's not because you should have something because it's 3 o'clock. It's not because it's breakfast and it's the most important meal of the day. It's not because any of those reasons. Sorry, I'm getting hot, everybody. I should put my air on. It's because I want you to be thinking. I have clothes on. Just FYI, I have clothes on. It looks like I don't, but I do. I have clothes on. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about the fact that meals are meals are meals. So if we let's say erase the notion of snacks, what are you left with? Meals. And then I would hear kickback, but Marna, I eat a healthy snack. Okay, but if we're eating food and our body doesn't need food, then we're putting more food into our bodies than it needs. Like, you don't have animals in the wild saying, I'm just going to go snack on that for a second because it's healthy. They're eating because their body physically is in need of food, physically needs food. And in the same way, in that same animal kingdom way, we need to be treating our bodies the same way. Not because it's there, because it's healthy, because it's good for us, because I'm just going to keep a little snack. That's been coming up a lot in the inner circle and in my private clients. And I just want to address it because it can get in the way. It can get in the way of you seeing weight loss results, and it can get in the way of how quickly you see weight loss. So in my vantage point, in looking and interviewing and talking to Naturally Thin and asking them, what do you do with snacks? How do you address them? How does this look for you? They would say, well, I eat when I'm hungry. And yes, there are some naturally thin people that eat small, tiny meals throughout the day. And there are other naturally thin people that eat much bigger meals throughout the day. But it's always based in hunger. It's not because it's healthy or they should or they must. It's based on a physical need for food. And I think this is a big difference from saying, oh, I should eat something because I want to keep my metabolic rate high. Now, if that's working for you, fantastic. But for most people, we've conditioned ourselves. You may have this excuse that says, I should eat because I need to keep my metabolic rate high. Your body actually is still working on your last meal, and it doesn't need more food. So I want you to be aware of that. I want you to really be aware of this snacking, and just think of meals. When you're hungry, you eat, and that is a meal. Just like the naturally thin, they're very clear, many of them, that it's, even if I hunker down, even if they said I snack all the time, okay, I would hear that from naturally thin people. I snack all the time. And when I started to dive in and think, well, I want a snack all the time too, I'm happy to copy that. When I actually started like sifting through and going deeper, what that snacking really was they felt hungry and they ate. Felt hungry. Now they might have felt hungry often and had things like, oh, I'm having few nuts and a string cheese meal. And then a couple hours later, oh, I'm having a yogurt meal. And then a few hours later, oh, I'm having a little bit of a salad meal. Do you see the difference? It's not like I'm having 3 big meals and 2 small meals, and some of those meals your body doesn't even need. You haven't even finished from the metabolic standpoint. You haven't even finished using the food from the meal before. I like to see some big spaces in your day of one, I don't want you to be thinking about food all the time. When you're hungry, let your body wake you up, eat, and then give yourself some nice space. Give yourself some space where you don't need to be putting in your body food. You give yourself this space of, breaking down that food, using that food, and then allowing your body to give you that signal, hey, I've just used it, I'm ready for more. And you don't know if that's going to be 3 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours. What will happen is you'll get into a routine. Some people get nervous about this, thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Am I going to be always in this random state with hunger? No, you're going to go and get into a routine, just like the routine you've gotten into, perhaps by not listening to your body or giving into cravings or giving into snacks and eating just because. Now it's going to be really purposeful. Okay. So being purposeful makes a difference. So when are you eating? Hunger. Don't tell yourself, oh, I just need a healthy snack right now. Or it's okay because it's healthy. These are all ways our brain is really sneaky at giving us more food than our bodies need to try to kind of get more food in there and psychologically satisfy you versus physically satisfy you, and then go do something else that your mind loves. Okay? So that's one, dealing with snacks. Number 2, breakfast. Okay, what do you do, people? What do we do with breakfast? It can be very confusing looking at breakfast, looking at what do you do for breakfast? Do you eat? Do you not eat? It's the most important meal of the day. Some traditions have certain patterns and ways of eating in the morning. Now, I'm not an expert in all these different traditions and religions and whatnot. What I can tell you, what I am an expert in, is asking the thin what they do. What do they do? And when I talk about the thin, I'm talking about the naturally thin, those that make weight loss really easy, that have always stayed, not like weight loss, like making staying thin easy. What do they do? They're all very clear that the first time they eat in a day has everything to do with hunger. Everything to do with hunger. It's not because it's the most important meal of the day. It's not a should. It's not a must. It's not a have to. It has to do with, are they hungry? Or they could say things like, I'm hungry and my blood sugar goes way down. I get shaky. I feel really uncomfortable. It's this sort of notion inside their body that they need food. Nothing to do with what their mom told them about it being the best and most important meal of the day, not what a teacher said, what their body says. And so when I interviewed these naturally thin men and women, I kept hearing time and time again, some ate breakfast, some did not have breakfast. Some didn't eat until 1, some didn't eat until 10, some didn't eat until 9, some ate right away. And it was all based on hunger. And many of them shared that it depends. Depends on what they ate the night before. Is it still kind of working themselves through their bodies, or are they waking up hungry every single morning? So here's what I want you to think about. It's up to you. You decide. It's up to your body. What is your body saying? What is it needing? What is it telling you in the morning? Is it saying it's hungry, or is it not at all? And if it's not, great. Have a lot of water and enjoy. Drink up. You don't have to have breakfast in order to lose weight. I know. It's very contradictory. I mean, we could have a whole panel of different experts and we might get a whole panel of different results and different answers. All I'm telling you is I asked the thin. I asked the naturally thin. What do they do? And every single one of them said it was based in physiological need, not mental. It was a physical sensation that they were responding to. Okay? So I want that to be your guide. I want you to be thinking about your breakfast and shift it a bit on its head to be, what do your body need? What is your body doing every single day? What is your body saying to you that it needs? I know for myself, some mornings I'm starving. Some mornings I'm not at all, and I don't have anything. And then that leads me to the third piece, which is drinking. Okay, I'm a coffee drinker. I don't know about y'all. I'm a coffee drinker. I've always put it in these plastic cups, which I probably shouldn't drink out of plastic. But here's the thing. I tell all of you Inner Circle members this. I was always scared that my kids were going to get burned because I was burned as a kid. Not on purpose. Like I burned myself as a kid, as a teenager. And it was such awful pain that I never wanted my kids to get burnt. So I always have a lid most of the time. 99% of the time, you'll see me not drinking out of a mug. You'll see me drinking out of this. I also never want to like pour it on my computer or anything. So it makes me nervous. In any case, so I always have. So I have a ton of these cups because I love myself some Starbucks. So one of the things that I do is I think of this as a meal. Like this is one of those weird, like, what do we do with this? Where does coffee come in? What happens here? So, and there's lots of different theories. For those of you who are more like in that intermittent fasting world, you'd say, okay, well, if it's less than 50 calories, it's good to go. What I would say is this. I like coffee. It's not anything that I'm willing at this point to say I don't want to have. So what I typically do is this is like breakfast to me. This is a meal because I'm putting some cream in it. I'm putting I have some protein powder in it. And I treat it like, especially on Saturdays when I go for my walks with my friend, I go with Kelly. We go on these lovely walks. She's one of my best friends. And I get coffee and there's some cream in it. I see it as a meal. And then my next meal when I get hungry is my lunch. That's how I do this. Now, if I was starving, I'd have this and I'd have a meal, my, turkey sausage or an egg or something like that. That's what I would have for breakfast. And then I'd wait till hunger again and have my lunch. If I'm not hungry, I have my coffee because I want my coffee. I don't put a lot of crap in it. I'm not putting lots and lots of empty calories in my coffee. It's straight up coffee. When I go to Starbucks, it's straight up coffee. It's just drip coffee. Here's what I get. A tall blonde in a grande cup with a little half and half. That's what I do. But I know there's half and half in there. There's some stuff. It's going to satisfy me. If I'm at home, I put a little protein powder in it. I love my Vital Proteins, the collagen. I like it. Good for my skin, good for my brain. So that's what I do. I want you thinking about breakfast specifically as just a moment to check in before you just naturally eat it, naturally have it, checking in. Are you actually hungry for it? Versus just having food because your mom told you it was the most important meal, because teachers have touted it. Okay? I just want you to know I've learned this stuff and I've heard it from hundreds, not like a few naturally thin people, hundreds of naturally thin people who share the same exact way of being with food. And many of you live with these naturally thin people, and they tell you the same thing, don't they? My husband does not have breakfast. Never does. He has a cup of coffee. He puts a little cream in it. That's what he has until he says his stomach wakes up. What does that mean when I dig in and my stomach wakes up? Whose stomach needs to wake up? Mine's always awake and ready. It means he gets hungry. That's when he is ready and physically wants food. That comes for him usually between 10 and 11:30. So somewhere in that time, that's when he's having his first meal of the day. And that usually looks like it could be a little yogurt or something like that. And then he goes a while and then has lunch, or he has an early lunch. And that's what it looks like for him. Okay. So I really want to make sure you're looking at these areas of snacks and breakfast in a powerful way, because it makes a difference, and it makes a difference for your body. The third thing. Oh, yeah, this was the third thing I want to talk to you about. Many of you keep stopping on yourself and changing focus. How many of you done that where you're like, okay, this week I'm going to do this, and then next week I'm going to try a different program. Oh, wait, that's not working. So bright, shiny object over here, and I'm going to do that. And bright, shiny object over there, I'm going to do that. I see this happen a lot in the business world. People say, oh, Marna, how come you've done well or whatever? And I'm like, I focus on one thing a year. One thing a year is what I focus on with business. Why are we not applying that same focus to our bodies, to our health? If you get caught up, if I were as a business person, just because business is sort of my other passion, if I were to say, oh, I'm going to go with this strategy and that strategy and that strategy, and I was going to go with all these different coaches or different ways of thinking and interacting and being with food, I am going to struggle with being consistent and having a strategy and seeing what works. And I see people do this all the time with weight and with business. If you want to be successful, whether it's with business or with weight, I want you thinking about, pick a strategy, get amazing results from it, stay with it. Now, it's totally normal to fall off the wagon. It's totally normal to have a hard day, a difficult time, stop doing what you're used to doing, and want to try other things. But the problem with wanting to try all these different things is you're not going to know what really, really, really works. So give yourself some consistency with whatever you're trying. Give it some time. Give the program you're working on, whether it's me, whether it's a different program, give it some time to work for you. See if you're getting results. A week is not enough. 2 days is not enough. 4 days is not enough. I'm talking months. I'm talking about at least 1 month and into another month. Because whatever you do, like for me, I knew I did not want to diet. I knew I sucked at it. So for me, thinking in a different way and asking people who are thin made a lot of sense to me. Made a lot of sense. It made me, I really got to see how they acted and lived and related to food. And in discovering that, it made me want to be more like that. And so that propelled me to keep interviewing, understanding, and taking action. Now, many of you in my inner circle, you're doing this. You're doing it every single day, and you're kicking butt, and you're doing it, and you're seeing results. That's why so many of you are losing weight. It's because you keep staying consistent versus bright, shiny object. And if you keep finding yourself doing that bright, shiny object syndrome where it's like, ooh, that looks good. Ooh, let's try that. Ooh, let's try. I know it's fun. I know it's fun. And I know it's more exciting than sticking to the same thing. But the problem is you're never really sticking to a process or a way of transforming your body and transforming your mind because you keep jumping all over the place. So I strongly suggest you stay with one genre of thinking, eating, and living that ignites your soul, that makes sense in your head too. Because if it makes sense in your head and it ignites your soul and it feels right to you, you're going to have the intrinsic motivation, the passion, the excitement to keep forging ahead. But if you keep bouncing and you keep letting that be your excuse, oh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. It's just another excuse to keep you from actually doing the internal work and doing the external work to have you lose weight. So those are my 3 pieces that I really think are important: snacking, breakfast, and bright, shiny object syndrome. If you can hunker in on these 3 areas, then I really think you're going to see nice results, not just this week, but next week and the week after, and it's going to keep going. But I warn you, bright, shiny object syndrome is pretty fun. It's pretty fun to go into the grocery store and see magazines that are saying, oh, JLo just lost 50 pounds. I want that too. I want that as well. I want that. I would do the same thing. And even after all my awareness of this work, it would get me going, ooh, that looks good. That looks fun. Ooh, I want that. That would be exciting to have in my body, or I should try that. And I still have to go, yep, that's information. That's interesting. Good for them. I know the majority of diets for 95% of people don't work. 5% of people can do a diet and keep it off for 1 year. 1% keeps it off for over 5 years. So it tells me a lot about the brain. It tells me a lot about human behavior, that we need something in our lives that makes sense, that's doable, that's fun, that's effective, and that's consistent. Okay? So I want you to just think about those things as you plan your weeks, as you think about, oh, wait, I really could focus on this, or I really could do this. And I hope that inspires you to take action today in a really powerful way. Okay, questions. What kind of questions do you have? What kind of things can I answer? I'm going to kind of go through some of your posts here. You've got lots of them. Let's see here. Where should I start? Okay. Lee, super happy to always have you here. Judith, no worries. Just happy you made it. Awesome. Awesome, Diane. Great to see you. I find it hard to get myself to stop when I start eating without hunger. Yes. So literally, the brain doesn't have this. If your body's not giving you the signal to start, oftentimes it won't give you the signal to stop. And that's why this is tricky. That's why listening to your body, I really believe it's our natural, developed way to be in this world. If you want to say God-given, whatever you want to say, I think it's the way we are meant to be with food. I really do. I think we are animals in our DNA, in our hind brain. It's so true. And so knowing when to start and by listening and then stopping when satisfied is so important. Okay, awesome. I'm so glad. Yes, I totally agree with you, Kate. Diane said it's like constantly topping the gas tank when I saw, yes. It's like, I love that metaphor or that analogy of having your gas tank. You don't just keep watching the gas keep bubbling over. If your gas tank is full, you're just not going to go, hey, let me just, you know what? I think it's a good idea. Or I see it, let me go get gas. It's very similar. And we do that. Like, I'm satisfied. Oh, but I see somebody else eating. Or I see that sign that looks really good. I'm going to pull over and get some food. But our bodies are just like, we're happy, we're good, we're satisfied. This feels amazing. So why do we keep doing that to ourselves? I want you to really watch that. Really watch the see it, eat it. It is not about any other sense but physical, that hunger piece inside of us. Thank you, Miss Kate. I decided to curl my hair for y'all today. Hi, Miss Allison. Happy to see you. Sometimes I find I eat instead of drinking water. Okay, Miss Melissa, happy to have you on. Great to see you. So here's the thing. That is 100% right. And I used to get confused all the time. They are in different places. So thirst, think of thirst as being here. It's your mouth. Okay? Your thirst resides in your mouth. And so you'll be drawn to drink when you think here. Hunger resides lower in your stomach. And that's where, if you are having that sensation in your mouth, then you need something to drink. If you're having that sensation in your body, then you need something to eat. And if you're having that sensation in your head, you're thinking about food, you need to be having a life that's more robust, full, and enjoyable, because you are just thinking about food, and it's an emotional need, not a physical need. So you are 100% right. There's actually I call it three different types of hunger. The only hunger you should be eating for is physical hunger. You should be drinking for thirst, and that resides in your mouth. I love breakfast and feel awful without eating, but I always have breakfast after my run and walking the dogs. So that pushes it out to brunch. Then lunch is pushed down to 4 or 5. Great. Yeah, that's very naturally thin, Diane. You saying I love breakfast but feel awful and feel awful without eating it. There are many naturally thin people that eat breakfast first thing in the morning because they say the exact same thing. I feel awful. My blood sugar's low. It's terrible. I know what you're saying. You're saying you go for a run and then you eat. Great. It's about listening to what your body needs. I know for me, I used to go spinning, and one of the things that I was so worried about was not eating. I was so worried I was going to be like passing out on the spinning machine, like on the bike. I was so nervous. I was going to like throw up, or something was going to happen if I didn't eat. And so I just had to little by little train myself by proving to myself it would be okay and I would be okay. So I started by having like 7 almonds and a half a banana. I'd have that before I went and worked out. Then I'd go, okay, can I do 5 almonds? Can I do 3 almonds? Can I take away the banana? Little by little, until I felt like I was in that zone that worked for me. Very important. It's very important. Listen, I don't want anybody passing out, hurting themselves, or tiring in a way that doesn't work for them. But I do want you to be realistic with what your head is actually doing and really face some of these excuses, if you will, ways we try to get food, ways that we're like, oh, I think I need this, when we really, in reality, may not need it. And so we have to face our lives and our food and what we're saying to ourselves so that we can really see a difference in a different way. I'm glad, Janie, you were able to join. I'm glad you like this. It's fun when the bright, shiny objects are my rewards for releasing weight. Amazing, Jill. And Jill's lost 40 pounds. Amazing. So proud of you. That is awesome. See the change in your thinking? Excellent, Jill. And bright, shiny object syndrome can cost a lot of money too. It really can. I cannot tell you the difference in my life by getting focused. And it's not just even focused. It's like, I know it for business. It's like I got focused and then I got great at that thing. Does that make sense? It's like mastery. It's the mastery work. And it's like if you're trying to do too many things, you don't really master anything. But if you really hunker down, in a few areas and you master it, then it becomes your automatic conditioning. It goes from your conscious brain to your unconscious brain. And then your conscious brain is like, okay, give me more. Give me more tools because I know how to do that now. I do that automatically. Now I need more. And that is what, when I say an overweight mind does, or an overwhelmed mind does nothing, it just freezes. It's how the brain actually works. It doesn't know what to do. And so it does nothing except for, oh, let me turn to food or let me overeat. So that's why all of you, I want you always to have just a few focuses every single week so you're not overwhelming your brain. And that's why for so many of you, I ask you, what is it that you are focused on this week? And I may break it down. Like Lee, I broke it down. I was like, these are amazing long-term focuses. They're great. What are one or two things you can focus this week on? Because that's imperative in terms of actually seeing results and seeing how your actions impact your weight and your body. You don't get to see that if you're hunkering down on 14 different things. You don't get to see powerful results if you are constantly overwhelming yourself with to-dos. You will see results if you're like, okay, eating when hungry, how am I doing with that? Or I'm going to reduce breakfast and just wait till I'm hungry. Or I'm going to get rid of snacks and just think of them as meals and just think of them as when I'm hungry, that's a meal instead of a snack. How does that work for you if you do that consistently for 2 weeks? What is that going to mean for your body? That's the really cool things. Then you can see, and then you're going to actually know, oh, wait, that really works for me. And that's also why in the inner circle, for many of you who are inner circle members, I often have you assess and look at what's working. How is that going for you so that you can see what's working and you aren't just like throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks. Never, never. We need strategy that works. I feel better when I eat after I exercise. So that's great. And the only way for you to know that, Karen, is how? You practicing and doing and doing and doing it. So that's amazing. I don't have bright, shiny object syndrome about food or food problems. I have wanting to snack, whether healthy or not, when I'm feeling emotional. I have a lot of talks with my 2-year-old and breathing in those moments. I see breakfast when I'm hungry. Oh, I eat breakfast when I'm hungry. Great. So your area of focus should be dealing with your emotional needs. Okay? Like food is off the table. Snacking's not an option. Let's just say when you're emotional. Then what would it look like? And Lizzie, I would write that all out. Okay, when I'm emotional, food is not an option because that's not going to solve it. It may prolong it. It may move it out of the space momentarily, but it's not going to solve it. So looking at what makes you feel emotional. Are you getting too stressed again? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Do you need to write a to-do list out? Do you need to ask for help? Do you need to take some things off? You know, looking at what's contributing to that emotional state and allowing yourself to have that emotion without having to eat through it. Allowing yourself that and learning from it and understanding what it's wanting and needing from you. And that's the work we can keep looking at and doing. And that's where your transformation is going to be. Okay? My husband is still laughing about the idea of sitting on the toilet to try to feel better. Recently, he was really sad. After he talked about his feelings, he cracked a smile and said he thought he'd go sit on the pot to see if he could feel more positive. That's awesome. So sometimes I say that. Sometimes I say it's like going to the bathroom. We're given this physiological sensation, right, inside of our bodies as to when to use the restroom. And we listen to that. And I want you doing the same thing when it comes to your body. And I'll say, we don't just go sit on the toilet when we're feeling sad. We don't just go eat when we're feeling sad. It's that same physiological thing. And the naturally thin, they understand that people emotionally eat, or maybe they've done it once or a few times here and there, but they don't understand it. They're like, well, if you're feeling emotional, address the emotion, address the need, talk through it, write it out. exercise, move, do something to get that out of you instead of eating. And so that's what that reference is. That's so funny. I love that your husband uses that. I need to talk to my inner 2-year-old more. Yeah, great. Good job. Awesome. Judy, I can wear a pair of pants that were too tight several weeks ago before the program, and I have a very small wardrobe, so it really matters. Great, Judy. Great job. Okay, everybody. So let me just kind of refresh. I want you really thinking about, one, your snacks as meals. Don't give yourself the excuse, oh, it's just healthy, I'm going to eat it. It doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. When we're putting more food into our body than our body needs, it matters. So let's address snacks as meals. 2, breakfast. I don't want it to be because you have to. I want it to be because your body needs it. And that's for all meals, obviously. But breakfast is one of those ones that's tricky. That's a tricky one because we've heard it for so long. You need breakfast. The whole school system is based on that. And I can tell you, it's so funny watching my daughter, who's, both my kids are very naturally thin. And I have one kid that is kind of like her dad, isn't really hungry very much in the morning. And then I have another kid who eats like massive amount of food, like a lot of food. It's his main meal. And so breakfasts are huge for him. And you can see he's just an a-hole. He's not nice. He's not great. He's not super, he needs his food. You can tell. And all of a sudden he gets that food. It's physiological. You can see the mood go down. He eats and all of a sudden he's like a nice human being again. So really you can see this physical. One is like, I'm not hungry. I don't really want to eat. I'm not real interested in it. And sometimes she'll wake up and go, I'm starving. I really want to eat. I'm really hungry. It's all based on physical. Okay? So let your body be your guide today. You may need to post that. You need to write that down. Let your body be your guide. Let your stomach be your guide, not your brain. And see what happens. And let me know how this is working for you. For those of you who want to work with me, the next 30-day challenge is coming up. It's coming up. You go to thinwithin.com if you want to get on the wait list for it, because when you're on the wait list, I'll let you know on Thursday, July 2nd. I'll send you out an email to pre-register. You kind of get first dibs at pre-registering. Then I open it up to my regular list, and then I open it up to everybody else. Okay. So if you're on that wait list, then it means that, hey, I'm waiting. And so join me. You can join me for that. You just go to thinwithin.com. There's something that says sign up for the next 30-day challenge or put my name on the wait list. Just put your name in there. Somebody said, oh no, I thought it's all filled up. No, it's not full. We haven't started yet. We're good. We're coming on to it and when we get started officially with the 30-day challenge on July 13th. July 13th is going to be the first day. What I figured is, let me get you guys through 4th of July. You're going to go through 4th of July. Then we're going to go hard through July into August. You're going to be feeling amazing, looking amazing. The results of the last 2, I've only done it twice, and the last 2 were so phenomenal that I'm doing it again. All right? Okay. Let me know if you need anything. I'm so proud of all of you. Good job. Keep the work up. Keep going. And I will see those of you in the inner circle. I'll see you Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow. We're going to be doing coaching. And I'll see you Friday for an inner circle call. For those of you who just listening to my podcast, watching my Facebook lives, join me next week. I'll see y'all soon. All right, everybody. Bye.